Gaming news, your bi-weekly source of vitamins and minerals, is what I would say if you could eat it. Nintendo finally dropped the June Direct they consistently reminded us would not involve the Switch 2. Stop asking about it, please. But it did have some cool games, including a new top-down Legend of Zelda game where you play as Zelda for the first time, canonically. And all it took was Link literally getting sucked into the Shadow Realm. Every time she tried to bring it up, he just wouldn't say anything. Link, can I please have my own game? And all he said was, hup, hup, ah, ah! There's also a new entry in the Mario and Luigi RPG series called Brothership, and it's coming out this November. It's got a cel-shaded, cartoony style, and it's all about hopping between islands inhabited by anthropomorphic power outlets. I take it they don't swim. Fantasian Neo Dimension, a port of the Apple Arcade game from Final Fantasy creator Hironobu Sakaguchi Gang, is finally coming to platforms people actually use. What's that? Did someone say remakes and remasters? Or am I going senile? No? Well, too bad, because there's a lot. The Dragon Quest III HD 2D remake is out this year, while remakes of the first two Dragon Quest games were teased for 2025. There's an HD remaster of Wii game Donkey Kong Returns, and the Ace Attorney Investigators Collection remasters two games in which you play as prosecutor slash twink with a suggestive name, Miles Edgeworth.
He certainly is. He's very Edgeworth.
Oh God. There were also some surprises, like how Metroid Prime 4 Beyond, apparently is its subtitle, not only still exists, but is actually launching next year. Am I the only person that's excited about that? There's even a new Mario Party launching in October, if you feel like your friendships have run their course. Todd Howard has responded to the player backlash after Bethesda sold a Starfield mission for $7. In an interview with YouTuber Mr. Matty Plays, Howard said he and his team take the feedback very seriously, as one should when the reviews for your game fall to mostly negative on Steam, even if it started at mixed. According to Howard, the price for the Trackers Alliance content was apparently originally meant for the special weapon and outfits included in the bundle, but it was then decided to wrap them around a quest to go the extra mile. They weren't trying to chop up a new faction and sell it piece by piece, that just happened organically. Howard also commented on paid mods for like the third time, claiming that it allows modders to go from hobbyists to professionals and be compensated for their work. It's super cool if true, less cool if outside developers are being underpaid to fix your broken game. Howard also finally spilled the beans on whether Starfield will be getting more expansions. Yes. He says Bethesda plans to do an annual expansion every year, and he hopes to do so for a very long time. The studio is already planning for the next DLC after Shattered Space. Fingers crossed, it's called Fixed Game. Paradox Interactive has announced they have canceled their in-development Sims competitor called Life by You, after the early access launch had been pushed several times. Less than 24 hours later, they announced they were closing the studio that was working on the game, Paradox Tectonic, since the sole project they were working on was canceled. Unfortunately, that's not the only recent industry loss. Wizard with a Gun developer, Galvanic Games, is also closing its doors. According to a post on Twitter, sales of the game just weren't enough to sustain the studio. Of course, it wouldn't be a studio closure story without the GOAT, Embracer Group. It just shut down Pieces Interactive, the studio that just released the new Alone in the Dark game 2 months ago. You have 2 months to prove yourself. Like, according to former PlayStation boss Shawn Layden, the games industry needs to learn some frickin' patience. Layden says that companies are scared of the time it takes to try new ideas, and that's how we ended up with Shuttered Studios and 6 Call of Duty Black Ops games. There's so many stories to tell.
So many zombies. But what if zombies were Soviets?
We may not be able to fix the game industry, but you can fix pretty much everything else thanks to our sponsor, iFixit. Repairing your gaming rig is tricky. Repairing your gaming laptop is even trickier, but you can make repairs a lot easier with iFixit's carefully compiled kits, like their Pro Tech Toolkit and step-by-step visual repair guides. You can even get rigorously tested, high-quality replacement parts like batteries and SSDs at iFixit too. So check them out at the link below and give your mobile battle buddy an extra life.
We call them one-ups in the biz.
Quick Bits, AKA the speedrunning of gaming news. Yet unfortunately, there are 0 video essays about them. I don't I don't know what we're doing wrong. Reviews for Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree are now live ahead of the expansion's release this Friday, and most critics seem to have just gone through a life-altering experience. Kotaku called it massive, menacing, and magnificent. Gene Park said a 4-day-long boss fight left his body literally trembling. But most importantly, 10 out of 10 IGN. George, you must be so proud. I'm looking at George R. Martin.
Oh, okay.
Well, through you, he's a ghost. But not everyone bent the knee to the Erdtree. Eurogamer's review complained that in-game hints left by FromSoft as a stand-in for the player-created messages that will no doubt appear once the DLC arrives made the experience too hand-holdy. Don't you get it? I want to suffer, I'm a little worm, squish me! A game set in the world of the A Quiet Place movie franchise has resurfaced years after its initial announcement back in 2021. It now has a name, A Quiet Place: The Road Ahead, despite the reveal trailer featuring 0 roads. What? Instead, it's just a tense sequence where every small noise leaves you on the edge of your seat. Not roads though, so 0 out of 10, IGN, don't buy. The PlayStation Portal handheld has gotten some updates sorely needed by the surprising amount of people who made the baffling decision to pay $200 for a device that does PS5 remote play and nothing else.
We call ourselves the Portal Heads, aka Dads.
New firmware will let these people connect their Portal to public Wi-Fi networks, even if that requires opening a sign-in page. They'll just scan a QR code on the Portal screen and continue the process on their phone. That's amazing. We didn't have that technology before. The update also brings visual feedback for the emulated touchpad and a battery percentage indicator. Will Portal users like those? I don't know. Their ways are mysterious to me. Who are you? A game initially meant for the original Xbox will finally be releasing this year. Age of Pirates: Captain Blood, amazing, is loosely based on a historical fiction novel from 1922 and used to look like an actual pirate game. Its current form was apparently finalized around 2010, which, if you couldn't figure out from the graphical fidelity, you will notice in the gameplay that looks ripped from the original God of War trilogy and the period inaccurate cleavage. I mean, it's the original Xbox period, maybe. They all said time travel was impossible, and yet here we are.
Back in 2011, baby.
And it feels very wrong. And Helldivers 2 players once again turned down unlocking anti-tank mines for the 3rd time. They just don't want them. Developer Arrowhead Studios gave players a choice in the most recent major order: save a planet populated by virtual sick kids, or unlock a cool new weapon. Somehow, the player base was able to turn down their bloodlust for long enough to save the kids, prompting the developer to make a real-world donation to a children's charity. It's not just a game. The beauty of the moment was slightly undercut when Arrowhead announced the next major order: kill a bunch of insect kids, and we're back. They're not sentient. They don't look like us. And you should be back on Thursday when we launch another salvo of gaming news directly into your ocular cavities. Is that dangerous? I don't know, ask a doctor.